My name is Joe Japp, and I am super thrilled to introduce Kyle Haraldson, the president and CEO of Swimage, a company at the forefront of enterprise endpoint management and automation. With over 2 decades of experience in IT and security, Kyle has led Swimage in transforming how large organizations handle PC deployment, recovery, and compliance. And today we've got a very exciting topic. As you know, everyone attending knows, Windows 10 to 11 migration at scale, not an easy thing to do. So Kyle will be taking us into asset tracking, scheduling, provisioning, and automation, and we will go from there. So Kyle, why don't you go ahead and take it away?
All right. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate the introduction. Okay, so we're going to talk about what Joe mentioned. Windows 10 to 11 migrations is a big deal right now as Microsoft is putting an end to life to Windows 10. So it's a big objective to a lot of companies out there that are really trying to get off of Windows 10. And it's difficult sometimes to do. So we're going to talk about how we can do that and how we can help with that. Swimage allows for a stress-free PC migration and recovery. Swimage fully migrates PCs touch-free. We do it seamless, instantly, anywhere, offline, online, doesn't matter. Zero touches, no shipping, no downtime. That's our focus. That's our primary objective. We want to take that headache and stress away from doing any type of migration based on anywhere that machine may be at, and we can save a lot of money doing that. Okay, so typical methods, reality check as to how folks address migrations, and it's really problematic, has been for many years. Getting machines upgraded is a lot of challenges. It's slow, risky, costly. You have logistic challenges, managing all the moving parts that go along with doing a large-scale migration. You may have limited asset visibility. Where are PCs at? What's their status? What's their state? You have bandwidth constraints, folks on very slow networks. You got, people all over the country maybe on dial-up for all we know in different countries. So you have that network latency. You have time zone and scheduling constraints. Hardware compatibility is a big one. Getting machines to Windows 11, for example, has very specific hardware requirements. That are also a challenge. So they end up replacing machines, and a lot of times replacing machines that you don't feel need to be replaced. You have limited on-site support. So if you're doing it in an office and you have one IT guy that's maybe part-time in the office, what's the support going to look like in these locations? Limited support staff in general, your support desk, those kind of folks. Security and compliance gaps. If you're doing some type of migration, there could be a gap in there where PCs are less secure. So if you're in a high compliance, high security environment, you may be at risk with that. And then just in general, risk of migration failure. So what happens if the user sees a PC being upgraded or migrated and they power it off midway? Will it recover? Will it be dead and you have to do shipping and dispatch and those kind of things? And this is the biggest problem, is migration failure is not just a tech issue, it becomes an operational risk. If those machines are on devices or being used somewhere in the organization that is very important or critical to the operations, it's going to create risks. So here's where Swimage has the differences in doing migrations. So we're going to go through each one of these. Speed is a big factor. So we accelerate migrations. We can do it very, very quick. In fact, we can do it in a matter of minutes, as we can do migrations faster than anybody else. We also do it with a simplified UI, which speeds up the provisioning and identifying machines and those kind of things. And then we got scale, which is migrating any number of devices simultaneously. We can do migrations with zero network impact, so you could have anywhere from thousands, tens of thousands of machines all migrating at the exact same time without affecting the network. We can do migrations completely offline. And we have had requests with some of our customers in the past that do a light switch migration. I have 10,000 machines I need to migrate over the weekend. You can actually migrate that over the weekend with Swimage. We have that possibility. Okay, we also configure exactly to your needs. So you have control over how you do your imaging. So you can use a custom image. You can customize by role, by location, by individual user if you need to, all based on automatic provisioning of templates automatically provisioning of roles and locations. We can streamline the OS and remove all Microsoft blows. So if you're forced to do it the Microsoft way, they want to give you what they want to give you, and you end up with a lot of applications or functions in your operating system that actually can spike your CPU that you really don't need. So you really have control with Swimage to define exactly what you want. Okay, you can also keep your existing hardware. You don't have dependency on your type of hardware for the operating system, so we decoupled those. So you're not forced to replace hardware just because you have a new operating system. And you can extend your life overall, because if you can replace your operating system without replacing your PCs, you'll get better life out of them. In fact, you can refresh Swimage as often as you need to. It gets that machine back in factory speed anytime you need to with Swimage. Okay, we have real-time data that you can utilize, and so you get very specific reporting on where your locations or where your assets are, what operating system, how they're configured, exactly, what's the state of all these machines, and you can get real-time information, exactly what is happening during a deployment. So when you're doing an actual migration, you see step by step exactly what's going on real-time into that dashboard. We have built-in safeguards to keep that machine secure and ensure success. So we take a full disk snapshot before any migration to ensure that you can roll back if needed. That takes about 2 minutes. In the case something does happen, you can always have that safety net to roll it back. We maintain and restore all security and encryption also during any type of migration. So it eliminates that security gap, that machines are going to be secure and fully protected all the way through the migration. Okay. We also do that trash removal and cleanup. We remove all unwanted bloat, unwanted applications. So it's not just a garbage in, garbage out. Any type of normal migration, which is really treated like an upgrade, if you have bloatware, if you have viruses, if you have trash that's on your system you don't want, that's going to get inherited and you're going to push that into the new operating system. This is an opportunity to clean all that stuff up. So we purge any of the bloat, any of the unwanted applications. It actually refreshes that PC, makes it run like a new PC, and it runs much, much faster. And it specifically has what your organization needs and not anything else. Okay, and finally, we can prepare for the future. So as you're doing migration, we also can prepare the machine for disaster recovery in the future, so we can add resiliency to your system. So any future event happens, you're prepared for. You can recover a machine in minutes if there's a disaster, if it gets malware, if it gets a blue screen of death. If it has any type of issues with that machine, you can actually use Swimage to do that break fix and get that machine operational very quickly. And any future migrations, obviously, you can use Swimage for. Explain just a little bit about 30 years of success doing this. We have a lot of customers. We've done this for customers anywhere from just a few hundred machines up to 350,000 machines we've done migrations for and full PC protection. So we have a lot of experience in this area with a lot of big customers. So we have experience in the scale and the complexity. Now, I picked a specific success story that we have with Zebra Technologies, not because of the size. The size is, in the mid-range, 5,000 PCs globally. It was the complexity. They had 3,000 PCs that were in-place migrations, 2,000 that were hardware replacements. They were all over the world. They were in 49 countries, 210 different locations, and they needed all their settings, all their applications reinstalled. They also migrated from one domain to another, and a lot of these machines were off the network, and they didn't have a trust between the two domains, and they also switched encryption. So a lot of complexity went into this type of migration, and we did it all 100% completion, 100% successful. So there were, not to say there weren't any issues, but Swimage was resolve any issues that did come up. And it was a great success story that we got a lot of really, really positive feedback because of the speed and the simplicity of the way the approach was. And we got some quotes back directly from users saying this is the best migration they ever had. Everybody won in this situation. The corporation loved it because they got off their old system onto the new domain very quickly. It was a simple process, very fast and reliable. IT loved it because they didn't have to do anything. They just had to use Swimage to basically handle it all. Okay, and a lot of that success comes from the portal. So we have a single pane of glass that gives visibility to all of your assets. So it knows where they're at, what they're doing, what the status is. It allows you from this portal to do your scheduling. You can do your remote deployments. You can monitor the activity that's going on. And it also tracks a history. So you have a record of every deployment that happened, if there were any issues, how long they took. Everything you have at your fingertips in this portal. So it's very, very easy to use and gives you that kind of visibility and control you need from a single location. We've had individuals that use this portal, single guy managing thousands of deployments, just sitting there eating popcorn, watching this portal as machines are deploying. They check in, they do their deployment, and they complete, thumbs up, ready to go. And the nice thing about this as well, with that kind of visibility, they know there's an issue before the user knows about the issue, and it can get resolved before the user even logs into the machine when it's finished. Okay, a little bit about how Swimage stacks up to the competition. No other solution can do some of the combined capabilities that Swimage has. We can work completely offline. No other solution can really claim to do that. We can detect and transfer encryptions. That's a patented process of ours. We can do domain trust migrations, so you can migrate a machine from one OS to another, or do a break fix or disaster recovery without having to rejoin that machine to the domain. We do a full snapshot and rollback. The snapshot snapshots everything about what's on that drive. So you get a point in time bit of information about what that machine was prior to any type of migration or recovery. And if anything goes wrong, you can use that snapshot to roll back. You can also take a snapshot and put it onto a different machine, or you can virtualize it if you want to analyze anything about that device after the fact. We can do that zero touch. This can be user initiated, so you can schedule that out and say, push this button. Any user can migrate anytime they want. So if they go to lunch, push the button, they can migrate their own machine at their time frame, not someone else's. And finally, we can do simultaneously mass migration. That's that light switch migration. We can do many, many systems at the same time without affecting the network. And that's an important factor. I'm going to drill into real quick. How does Swimage do it? What is some of the secret sauce? At the local level, this is kind of how we operate. So we prepare machines in advance. So I put this stack up, which is a breakdown of the different components on a machine. You have your OS, you have your drivers, you have your patches, updates, you have applications, and then you have all your other stuff, which are all your data and settings. Okay, when Swimage gets installed, what it is, it creates this little protected space. This partition is protected from any other outside influences. And we put in this protected space your migration sources and your data protection information. So in the migration sources include your operating system, your drivers, your patches, applications, any of the automated instructions was kind of our secret sauce. And then we have any data protection we want to have. So critical data and settings get put into this area. And this is where the disk snapshot goes as well. And this gets done in advance. So it pushes it out. This is completely automated. The users aren't impacted. They never see anything impacting the machine. It uses bits to download, so it really manages the network well. And then once it's there, it continually syncs and validates. So you can update your operating system in here. You can update any of your applications, but it keeps this healthy. It keeps it active. And this allows everything to be pre-staged on this device. So when a migration does happen, it can be done at a local level. So it has everything it needs contained in this protected partition to do an entire migration on itself. So it can do this, any number of times. It's used for disaster recovery. It's used for migrations, primarily in the migration mode. You can then trickle this out. It'll be available. And then this is where you get your light switch migrations without impacting the network at all. Some of the benefits of doing this, number one, it's fast. We can do this very, very quickly because it's really migrating from its own device. We can do it as little as 15 minutes. You're using all trusted sources, so it does a constant validation of the sources to know they're all known good. It does a checksum on them to validate that nothing's been corrupted or compromised. It can run completely offline, so there's absolutely no dependencies to get this thing running and migrating. It is completely scalable and highly resilient. So if something does go wrong midstream, it can reset, start where it left off, and continue the migration process until it's finished. Worst case, it can roll back to its previous state. Okay, one of the things we address, and this is our decades of experience doing this, we've hit every type of scenario you can imagine. We've seen PC failures, locations that are down, no network. We've seen every type of failure, and we understand the apprehension a lot of individuals have and companies have with doing any type of migration deployments. It's usually doing any type of imaging or migrations. It's the last resort. I'm not going to do this until everything's ready. They got a lot of apprehension behind it because of all the issues that can happen. So we address all these with Swimage. This is what this listed is. Everything we're able to address with Swimage and doing any type of migration. One of the biggest things that we address is that safety net. So we create that safety net with a snapshot. That snapshot allows you to be very aggressive with moving forward with your migrations, because you know that even in the worst case, even if they get a new operating system, I just don't like this OS, you can always roll them back. So you can press forward knowing that you always have the ability to put them back where they started in about 2 minutes. So you can be very aggressive with getting these migrations out, and you can accelerate your timelines probably by tenfold by doing this. Another factor is saving your hardware. So we have the ability to do a migration on hardware that's not technically supported, but many of the devices don't require the heavy horsepower that, they may be a simple, one-use application on a machine. They don't need the horsepower needed the Windows requires. So Windows 11 says, hey, you need to hit these specs. We're not going to let you migrate. Swimage gets around those. It migrates drivers. It migrates all the information and puts the OS getting around any hardware limitations. We've had a lot of success in doing this, and if the performance of the PC is not where you want, it's not optimal, you can always roll it back, but at least you push forward and then you can check to see if it is working properly. We have the adage, if it's not broken, don't replace it. It's not necessary to replace machines that are fully functional and they really have a simple use in your environment. So save that expense. So replacing hardware is expensive. There's new hardware costs, obviously. Shipping costs, there's 4 times the shipping. You have to ship the old PC if they're a home user, ship the PCs 4 different ways, because you have the old PC going back and forth twice and the new PC going back. Okay, you have IT labor. It gets expensive to manually migrate machines from one to the other. You have your support desk and you have your downtime. So really not replacing machine hardware is something that you can do to save a lot of money. But even if you do replace hardware, Swimage can do that. So Swimage can do hardware swaps, and we can do it as self-service mode. So you ship out a new machine to the home user, they power it on, and it connects over wireless to the old device, and it does an automatic transfer. So it transfers everything from the old machine to the new machine, makes the PC look just like the old machine, and it does all the settings, all your applications, all of your data get migrated over. And then once it's finished, it validates it, and it can securely wipe the old device to get shipped back. So very, very simple process. Even if you have to replace hardware with Swimage, you can do that. Swimage does pay for itself very quickly, low cost, high impact, immediate ROI. We save money by reducing hardware replacements, save shipping costs, save IT labor, eliminate unused software licenses, because you're only going to put back on the devices that are needed. So you can actually use this opportunity to purge licenses that are being unused or underutilized. You can reduce your downtime, and overall you can improve your PC performance and boost your productivity with Swimage, because it does a really good job at cleaning up your systems so they run factory fresh. Okay, a little bit more about Swimage. Once you have your migration solution in place, you can advance this to do a little bit more. So migration of OSs is one bullet point in our capabilities. We can provision PCs, be factory ready, so you can have machines shipped out to home users and they can build themselves for any new devices. And we also can do any type of migration, hardware replacements, domain migrations, encryption migration. We can do all of that. So a lot of additional functionality with provisioning migration. We also do security compliance. We can maintain PC's desired state. So you set up in Swimage, this is what a machine needs to look like. Machine's going to keep it that way. Our Swimage is going to make sure that if you have firewall rules, you have policies, you have application rules, Swimage will make sure those, if you are missing an application, it's going to put it back. If you're missing a firewall setting, Swimage is going to put it back. And it does that in real time and automatically, and alerts while it does it. So you see security alerts as they happen in real time. Okay, we also do disaster recovery. Any machine that gets hit by malware, a virus, any type of bloatware, break fix, blue screen of death, anything that happens, we can recover that machine as quickly as 15 minutes. And we eliminate all traces of malware with our process. And we can also recover from ransomware. We have a functionality to do backups of mutable data. So any data that's on the machine that's important, we can protect that from ransomware and go back in time and restore that data from anywhere. We can recover an entire organization from anywhere as well. So if you have a massive outage, we can actually do that kind of recovery in mass and save an enormous amount of money for our customers. Swimage then becomes an everyday use. It'll continually monitor the PC for compliance. It's all trigger based. Anything that goes out of whack, it's going to fix it. We back up critical and mutable data for all your information to get recovered very quickly. We can prepare that device for recovery at any time. And then if anything happens, we can recover and rebuild whenever needed. We have flexible options if you have a migration that needs to get done quickly. We have 2 different models, and they're flexible within each of these, but their do-it-yourself is we'll license you the software, we'll give it either on-prem, we have a cloud option as well, we'll give you training and documentation, we'll give you professional services as needed, so we have project management, we have staff augmentation as you need it, we can help you. If you want to have us do everything, we can also do that. If you say we have 10,000 machines, we need to get migrated by, say October, we can absolutely do that. We do firm fixed pricing. You can leave it to the professionals. We've done this a lot, so we know exactly what it takes to do all of the logistics, all of the scheduling, all of the management and configuration, and we can do it all for you. It saves you time, headache, money. Without having to staff up to do this. Get more information, get started with Swimage, go to our website, get more data, exactly how we do things. If you want to get a personalized consultation, feel free to contact us. We have on the website, there's a contact us button, and you can get a deep dive demo if you'd like, and you can request a proposal. And that is my presentation. I appreciate that.
Wonderful. Kyle, thank you so very much for another great presentation. To all the attendees, we love these webinars, different topic every month. Wonderful to have everybody attend, and have a wonderful rest of your day.